Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
Sorry about that.
No
I
worries.
hit the I hit the I hit the leave instead of like unmuting myself.
I was like, oh, this is like a flashback to the COVID days, getting on
Right?
Zoom again. I'm like, where is everything now? I've forgotten. Well, I'll wait like a minute and then I'm just gonna get started because this time wasn't, I know it's not super convenient for most people, but it kind of worked best for me to get it done before we go to this competition this weekend. So
W- we actually have our home competition tomorrow.
oh,
So,
do
but
you?
I got canceled out of practice too because of snow tonight.
Oh, I know last week you might have seen it on Facebook, but we had a snowstorm that was like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So everybody was able to make it in, which was a total blessing. Because it shifted a day, I don't know, like it would have been really hard for people to get here. So um I was thankful for that. But man, you don't realize how much stuff you do in the week until like you can't be driving around doing all those things. So I was like jammed everything into 2 days and I was exhausted by the end of it. So,
Yeah.
all right. Oh, there's Darcy. And if she's all connected, we'll get going. And then I am recording this so that I can send it out to all the people that this time did not work for. Um, so this is to go over the Reliaquest Bowl trip that we'll be doing at the end of December 2023, and then a couple of days into January of 2024. And just so you know, in case you don't know me and you're listening to this recording, my name is Jacinda Miller, and I've been involved in baton since I was 6. And I was actually the first Just for Kicks feature twirler that they ever had. And then I've just stayed in touch with Cindy Clow, who's the director and owner of Just for Kicks. And I stayed in touch with her over the years. And then in 2016 and 17, we took our twirlers down there, just my twirlers, and um, we loved it. It was a great experience. They do a fantastic job. And so she and I at the time had said, like, I think this could be really cool for like twirlers outside of my baton twirling group and to kind of open it up to the twirling community at large across the nation. Well, then, that kind of takes a couple of years of talking. Then COVID hit and they canceled it, I think, for 1 year, had it a second year, and then now we're kind of going to be kind of back in their cycle. So that's how this came to be. So I've been there as a participant, I've been there as a coach, and I think it's just a fabulous experience for the kids and the parents, and all the different um kind of ways you can experience this trip. So, like I mentioned, here are the things we'll go through: the partnership, the dates, the travel package, the cost, travel assistance, choreography, and then any additional questions. Hopefully, we'll get most of them answered through these few slides. So, and so, like I mentioned, Just for Kicks is kind of the managing partner in this. I'm just the baton person who's going to help facilitate the connection between the twirlers to Just for Kicks. So I'll be in charge of the choreography, making sure that twirlers are informed of where to meet, and the practices that happen in Tampa. I'll be overseeing those. Um, and then doing the recording of the choreography that's done here and sent out, which I'll mention here. I'll talk about here in a minute. Just for Kicks is really fantastic at their customer service. I think for all things, but especially on this trip. So they are really on top of it as far as making sure that they know exactly when every family or twirler or performer is arriving into Tampa, when they're leaving. I mean, they really dot their I's and cross their T's, which they have to, because they do have usually teenagers are flying in and flying out on their own without parental supervision. Parents are welcome to come, but there are some kids that are there, maybe with just a coach or one parent to 4 or 5 or 6 kids. So they are really, really good at keeping this whole thing organized. The signage is amazing. The organization is amazing. The communication is fantastic. And again, I don't benefit from Just for Kicks. They're not paying me to do this, but this is as somebody who's experienced it. I just thought they do a really great job of keeping the event and the trip organized. The other thing I thought that was really important is it's a really good balance of practice and fun. So the kids are going to work hard for sure, but they balance that with something really fun, like they have a talent night or a talent show. And of course, the twirlers are always kind of the hit of that, because it's super cool. And then they will go to Disney or Universal. So they do a great job of making that balance. Team bonding, if you are coming with a team, I think this is something that I don't want to say it's a once in a lifetime experience. People can certainly do it more than once, but it definitely is an experience that is unique and does bring the kids together. And overall, for what you get, it's pretty affordable. And then the choreography is really quite amazing when you watch the show, and you can go like onto their Facebook page, and you could probably find, if you go back to the 2017 Outback Bowl, that's what the Reliaquest Bowl used to be called, was Outback Bowl. So if you go back to the 2017 show, you can see our twirlers in there, and they are featured in the performance. They are front and center on the 50-yard line, like between the 40-yard lines and the 50-yard line. So she does a really amazing job of making us feel really special and welcomed into the performance. And then by she, I mean Cindy Klaus, she does a great job of just that visual aspect in such a large space, in such a large stadium. So she really is an amazing woman. And you'll get to meet her if you do the trip. So here's the schedule that we would be going. So the dates are December 28th through January 3rd. And on day 1, that's your arrival in Tampa, Florida. If you're flying in, then, and again, if you're on the package, they will come get you. So your transportation from the airport to the team hotel is covered as part of your package. So they'll come get you, they bus you to the hotel, and then you can get settled in the hotel. And then, so that day is just kind of an arrival, get settled day. Day 2, we practice, and then we have our dinner cruise. So they rent out an entire yacht, and it's big. And we go on a dinner cruise, and the kids get to dress up. There's a dance party. It's so much fun. The kids even got me out and danced. I even danced at the last one. It was a lot of fun. And then on day 3, we practice, and then we go to Busch Gardens for a half a day. So usually those practices are kind of early in the morning, like 8:30 to lunchtime, and then off to Busch Gardens we go. And then on day 4, we practice in the morning, go to the beach, and then the New Year's celebration is at night. And the New Year's celebration is just a big party for the kids, and they bring in a DJ and they give away prizes and gifts, and the kids absolutely love it. And then day 5 is the game day. So it's an early morning. I think we leave the hotel maybe at like 7:30 or 8 o'clock in the morning. You get there, you practice, and then they do pregame checks, and it's a long day, but it is an amazing day. And then everybody gets ready, and then we go on the field for pregame. We're in a holding area until halftime. We do halftime, and then the kids are released to their parents or can start being bussed back to the hotel, or they can stay for the game if they want. That's really an amazing day. And then at the end of the day, then they do a big viewing party. So Just for Kicks will have their own videographers there, and we'll all meet in the ballroom of one of the hotels, and then they will show the show so that the kids all get to see what they did, and it's really super fun. So on day 6, and that's not half, I guess my PowerPoint made this into half, not one. It's not actually January 2nd. Then they go to Disney or Universal. So we'll load the charter buses up in the morning, and then we're taken over to Orlando, and then they can choose between going to one of the Disney parks. I think not every park is an available option. It might just be Magic Kingdom and maybe Epcot, I think. I can, if that's something that interests you, I can check on that. So you can do one of the Disney parks, or you can do Universal, whichever you prefer. And then on day 7, or January 3rd, not a third, that's our departure day. So then you want to plan your flights to head home that day. So that's the schedule. It's busy, but it is a lot of fun. And they do kind of take over these 3 hotels that are very close to each other. I'm sure you've all seen them in metro areas where there'll be several hotels within walking distance of each other. And that's where everybody stays in those hotels, and then they bus to and from them. So what's included in the package? You get the hotel accommodations, your taxes, gratuities, excluding like the hotel bell person if you use them. You get the transportation if your flights are booked into Tampa International Airport. Motor coach services, like I've mentioned, they have motor coach buses that bus us to the cruise, to the beach, to Disney, to Universal. So there's always these nice motor coach buses that bus us everywhere. You get 5 breakfasts, 2 lunches, and 2 dinners. And then you get a Reliaquest Bowl Game ticket. Then you do get a pregame and a halftime show costume. So the pregame costume, when we did it, was this super cute t-shirt, and then I think they wore black kind of booty shorts that were provided on their own. And then the halftime costume, excuse me, I might sneeze. Maybe not. And then there's a halftime show costume, and then they'll need to have tights and jazz shoes, which most of our twirlers would have. Oh, I knew I was going to sneeze. So then the other thing that's included is routine choreography. So there'll be how the videos are sent out, some live practices, all of that's included. The ticket into Busch Gardens, and then the ticket to Walt Disney World or the Universal Studios, then the New Year's Eve dinner cruise and celebration. I think they actually moved the dinner cruise off of New Year's Eve according to the schedule, but and then the celebration, the awards ceremony and performance viewing party, and then they get like a swag bag, essentially. That's included. And then just the experience, of course, is always included. So it's really fun. So this is how much it costs. So like, if you can really customize it to what you want. And I do want to say that these prices are the 2022, 23. They don't have the 23, 24 prices. But this hasn't even gone up a ton. About $200 or $300 is what it's gone up since 2016/2017 when we did it. So if you're a parent and you want to have 3 kids in your room, you'd be a quad, and the parent would pay $14.90, and the 3 performers would pay $15.39. So you can kind of decide how you want to set up your experience. If you want there to be 4 kids in the room, then everybody pays $15.39. If there are 3 kids or 2 kids or 2 kids and a parent. There's all kinds of different combinations, obviously, but this was last year prices. Now, what this does not include is your airfare or your travel expenses to get down there. Um, so if you do need travel assistance to book flights, they do have a travel agency they work through, and of course, you can always just book however you would book your normal flights. So how they work it to make it more affordable is they have a $500 non-refundable deposit on June 1st. And then they also have one on August 1st, and then the balance is due October 1st. So let's say, for example, you were going to do a quad room with 4 performers, and that's about $1,500. Um, then you would do 500 in June, 500 in August, and 539 or so on October 1st. And then there are no refunds after October 1st. So I think they do a nice job of trying to space out those payments so it's not quite so much all at once. And then again, like I mentioned, if you are wanting to travel, or maybe you're bringing an entire team and you want the team to travel all together, John and Kelly's who I worked with last time, they will work with you to get your team all booked on the same flight. So they have a travel agency that can help with that. And there are several flights out of Minneapolis, St. Paul that are pretty much dedicated to the Just for Kicks people. So Just for Kicks is based in Brainerd, Minnesota. And then they have lots of satellite programs kind of throughout the state of Minnesota. So they'll work pretty hard to kind of book an entire airplane full of people that are traveling down to Tampa for this. So that's kind of fun too. So we drove down because we extended our trip a couple days, and but I know a couple of our kids were on flights that were mostly Just for Kicks people, and it was a pretty fun environment. So this is how the choreography is learned. I always want to make it clear that the focus is on perfection and precision, because there's a lot of people out on the field. There's a lot going on. So I would not expect that you would see things like double illusions, 3 spins. This isn't about showing off difficulty. It's about showing how clean and beautiful twirling can be. And the way that we will make sure that the kids know the routines is we'll record the routines and then send the choreography out via video. And then we'll have live practice options via Zoom. If you're in Minnesota, then we'll practice together in person. And then those live practices via Zoom are optional. So if you're comfortable with the twirling routines, you feel like you've got them memorized and you're ready to go, then you don't have to do the live practices. You just need to have everything memorized and perfected when you arrive in Tampa. And then the practice in Tampa is really about putting it together, finding lines, moving formations, and less about learning routines once we get there. So that's how the choreography works. So again, videos go out in September. You have over a month to learn them. Then we'll host a couple of live practices via Zoom or in person if you're in Minnesota. And then when we get to Tampa, then we practice all together. And then if you want to look at the Just for Kicks website, they have pictures. I just included the link there, and here's their FAQs. But that is kind of the program in a nutshell. And then, of course, they just got back in January, so just over 2 months ago, or just 2 months ago. So they're just starting to kind of plan for next year right now. So this, like, the pricing information is from last year, but should give you at least a rough idea of what you'd be looking at for expenses to get down there or for the trip. So are there any questions I can answer?
Jacinda, what if you have parents who want to come or families that want to come, but they don't want to buy into the whole package, but like they send their kid to the package, but can parents and families, like, how would they get a ticket to the bowl game? Like, can they work with them to get one, or just that they're on their own to get any other tickets if they wanted to join on any of the excursions and stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. So that's what my family did. So Greg and the boys came down, and my sister and then brother-in-law and nephew came down, and they actually stayed not in any Just for Kicks spots at all. They stayed off in a condo near the beach, and they did all their own things. And just Marin and I did the package. So yeah, that's totally possible. And I believe we booked all of our things separately. So I don't think they kind of a la carte for the families as far as like a Disney ticket or an Outback Bowl ticket. I think we did all of that on our own. But it was completely fine. I mean, everybody, we all had tickets to the game because we knew we were going to go. So we booked them as soon as it opened up, and we chose that we were going to Disney. So we booked our Disney tickets, and yeah, so you don't have to do the packages if you have family that doesn't want to participate in all of the fun that we're gonna have with the girls, so, or guys. Any other questions? All right, well, if you don't have any questions, we'll hop off because I know Erica and Darcy and I are all headed to Iowa here in a little bit. And then if you do have any questions, you can feel free to email me at jacinda.miller@dance-twirlmn.com, or you can message me on Facebook or however you want to get in touch. And I'm happy to answer whatever questions you have about it. It's a great experience. I think it's a lot of fun for the kids. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions, but otherwise that's all I've got.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jacinda.
You're
We'll see you in a little
welcome.
bit.
All right, see you in a bit.